So how does a country with over 1 billion people, with thousands of languages, and just countless traditions, even begin to see itself as one? Well, today we're going to dig into that. And get this, our main source is a 5th grade textbook. Let's find out how India explains itself to its youngest citizens.
I mean, it's a huge question, right? With that kind of mind-boggling diversity, where do you even start? How do you find the common threads that tie literally everyone together?
Well, the answer is, you don't start with the big, abstract picture. You start with something familiar, something almost everyone has experienced. You start with a single, shared moment.
And so, that moment for us takes place right on a school ground. We're kicking things off with a special day that pretty much every student in India knows and remembers.
Picture this, it's January 26th, Republic Day. All across the country, students are gathered just like this for a flag-hoisting ceremony. It's a shared ritual, a collective memory. The head teacher pulls the rope, the tricolor flag unfurls against the sky, and everyone sings the national anthem together. This right here, this is the very first thread in the story of the nation.
And that flag that they're all saluting, it's not just a piece of cloth. It's practically a story in itself. Each color stands for a core value. Saffron, that's for strength and courage. The white in the middle is for peace and truth. And the green at the bottom represents growth and prosperity. Right in the center, you have that blue wheel, the Ashoka Chakra, which stands for Dharma, or duty. It's basically the nation's mission statement, flying high for everyone to see.
But okay, why celebrate on this specific day? What's so special about January 26th? Well, that question leads us to the why behind the whole ceremony, the invisible rulebook that holds this entire vast country together.
And this is just brilliant, a question straight from our textbook. After India gained its independence, a student asks, so does this mean we're free from rules now? Can we all just do whatever we want? It's such a simple question, but man, it gets to the absolute heart of a really complex idea. And the teacher's answer is just perfect. Think about it. Without rules, you just have chaos. It's the same for a country. You need a shared set of rules to make sure things run smoothly and to keep everyone safe and happy. So here's the key takeaway. Freedom isn't about having no rules. It's about the freedom to make your own fair rules. And that is exactly what this day is all about. On January 26, 1950, India officially adopted its constitution, that special book of rules that would guide the brand new republic. That's why it's called Republic Day. It's the day the official rule book for over 1 billion people actually came into play.
Okay, let's switch gears. We're moving from a big national day to something you might actually have in your pocket right now. We're about to see how a simple, everyday object can tell an incredibly deep story about India's diversity.
No, seriously, if you ever get a chance, take a really close look at an Indian banknote. It's so much more than just money. It's like a tiny museum you can carry around, absolutely packed with symbols and stories that represent the whole nation. Just look at how much they fit in here. Of course, you've got Mahatma Gandhi, but then you also have his spectacles, which are a symbol of the Clean India mission. You've got the National Emblem, those 3 lions standing for strength and courage. And then you have the language panel. And this is where it gets really amazing. The value of the note is written out in numerous different languages. And that's not an accident. It's a very deliberate choice. It's a daily reminder that India is a nation of many, many voices, and every single one is recognized. We're talking about a country with over 1,000 spoken languages, and this small piece of paper honors that reality.
And hey, here's a little secret, straight from the textbook. The teacher tells the students to hold the note up to the light. If you do it, you'll actually see a second, hidden watermark image of Gandhi in the blank space. It's a really cool little discovery that kind of pushes you to look closer at the things you see every day. So, the currency note showed us the national emblem, but there are other big symbols of national pride, and our textbook introduces them in a really fun way, with riddles. You ready?
Okay, here's the first one. Orange, with black stripes, a mighty roar rules the land. Any guesses? It's got to be a symbol of power and pure magnificence.
Of course, it's the tiger. But what's really important here, and what the textbook points out, is the story behind the symbol. India made these incredible efforts to save its tigers from going extinct, and their successful conservation is now a huge source of national pride. So the symbol isn't just the animal, it's the whole story of resilience.
All right, riddle number 2. Dancing in the rain, bright green and blue feathers, a crown on its head. This one definitely speaks to the beauty and grace you find in nature. And yep, you got it. It's the peacock, a stunning, vibrant bird that just perfectly captures the color and the grace that's such a big part of India's identity. See? These symbols are always chosen to reflect the nation's character. So, we've covered symbols and ceremonies. Now let's zoom in on the living, breathing culture of the people themselves, the things they wear, the music they create, and the way they move.
This is such a great example from the book. Just take a look at headgear. In a state like Rajasthan, men might wear a colorful safa or pagri. It's a powerful symbol of tradition and honor. But then you go north to Himachal Pradesh, and people wear a topi, which is both a marker of their region and, practical protection from the cold. Two hats, two completely different stories, but both are distinctly Indian.
And you can hear this incredible diversity in the country's rhythm, too, from the super complex beats of the mridangam drum in the south to the beautiful resonant strings of the sitar in the north. Every single region seems to have its own unique instruments, its own distinct styles of dance, and each one tells a story shaped by local history and culture. It's like a symphony of a billion different heartbeats.
So the big question is, how do all these wildly different pieces fit together? The textbook uses this beautiful metaphor to explain it. It compares India to a forest. Now, think about a garden that only has one type of plant. It's fragile, right? It needs constant care. But a forest, with its huge diversity of trees and plants and animals, a forest is strong. It's self-sufficient. Its diversity is its greatest strength.
And that brings us to this last powerful image. India isn't just one single thread. It's a fabric that's been woven together from countless different threads. Every language, every tradition, every symbol is its own thread. And when you weave them all together, they create something so much stronger, so much more colorful and vibrant than any single thread could ever be on its own. It's a story that starts on a school ground and ends with a fabric that clothes an entire nation. So that makes me wonder, what's an everyday object around you that tells a way bigger story than you think?